Hello, welcome to SJU. It's Wednesday. I'm Joe Starr. I'm hosting today. Dan Murrell's to my left.
Hello.
Spencer's to the right of me. And you can't spell Wednesday without Ed Greer.
Nice.
Guys, we're talking about a lot of... that checks
Carry
out.
the R.
Guys, we're talking about stolen ruby slippers. We're talking about Quentin Tarantino's R-rated Star Trek. But most importantly, like the rest of the internet, we're talking about Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Brie suggested yesterday that she and EW might break the internet. And while I don't know that the internet was necessarily broken.
It is.
Did it break?
You can't
Did it
go
completely
online.
shatter?
No, the internet's been broken, but in a different way.
The internet was broken a long time ago, Larson. Then she's healed it?
I don't know.
Brie Larson has completely healed all of social media and our societal ills with an exclusive cover of Entertainment Weekly's new issue with a first look at Captain Marvel in her suit. Look at that. There she is. I like this suit a lot. This is one of my favorite comic book suits, so I'm excited. So when Captain Marvel hits theaters, March 8, 2019, this will be the 21st entry into the MCU. It will also be the first to star a female solo superhero. Again, I really like this suit.
Where's the pager?
Oh that's maybe in one of the flashbacks that's on her hip, with Samuel L. Jackson paging her 911. It's directed by Anna Boden, right? 143.
When we did our Infinity War review, some ass munch jumped in the comments and was like, "It's stupid. That's not a pager. That's an intergalactic future device. That's the point. It's a pager." It's a pager that can page space.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was
That's
a
what they were trying to
tricked-out
do.
pager.
It's a dumbass.
It's a spager.
Yeah. I mean, Biggie had that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a Sky Pager, basically.
What aliens was Biggie talking to?
He hypnotized them, whoever they were.
Yep.
Yeah, the space Peruvians who tried to space do him in. He hasn't paid him yet.
Captain Marvel, again, it's directed by Anna Boden, Ryan Fleck. They did have Nelson together. This one, oh, thank God. They're going to sidestep the whole origin story thing. She's already going to have her powers. There's Ronan. Maybe that guy gets a second chance at being an interesting blue person. She's going to have already left Earth behind to join an elite Kree military team called Star Force, which I bet it was called Space Force and they changed it real quick.
I wish they should change it to Space Force.
Just keep it
Just
Space
lean
Force.
into it.
I'm into that.
There's Jaimin.
Yeah, Jaimin Unsu.
Yeah.
I'm digging this.
He was in.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's
of the Galaxy,
playing the same dude.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. I kind of like that retroactively we're getting some context for weird little random one-off Guardians.
It could use a little
Villains.
more. Well, Ronan being the big one of being like guy who wanted Gem was pretty much all you knew about.
Yeah. Now we'll get to know a little
beginning,
bit
middle,
more.
and end of that movie. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like if you just met Marcellus Wallace at the donut shop, he's a great guy. You know what I mean? So, but when you see him in all these other contexts,
Like,
you get a full picture. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is I can see this being pretty cool. I like the whole Kree thing. Brie chilling with the Kree, I love it. It's
I like
all
it.
The
The rap song that describes the plot is already built in.
Scrolls.
Call him an M.
Yeah, speaking of, we've got...
Look at the green.
Oh, me.
Skrulls.
Yeah, we got some scrolls coming out of the water, like they do.
Scrolls in the
They're in disguise.
Yes.
I did
But
not
works.
think you could make a scroll look cool, and they kind of did. Those are good-looking scrolls. I mean,
They're not. That's still pictures of people in costumes like that.
Marie
yeah.
Rambeau. Oh.
I like that they just gave Rambo Photon like Maverick style.
Yeah.
Like she didn't earn a name after powers. They were like, no. This is Goose. This is Hollywood. This is Sundown. This is Photon.
This is Photon.
Yes. And Dan, we talked about this.
We
a little
did
bit.
talk about this. Yeah.
But-
Did Samuel L. Jackson ever, as Joe's pointed out, did he ever look that young in real life in a movie?
He was 15 years older than this and Coming to America, right?
Yeah. They went a little overboard with the de-aging, I
Like,
think.
holy crap!
To be fair, early in his career, they Estelle Getty'd him a number of times.
True,
You know what
fair.
I mean? So
'Cause,
it's
like,
all mixed up.
When they did Lawrence Fishburne and Ant-Man and the Wasp, like that was crazy. That was like early '90s fish. Like it was like holy.
That
did you
deep
just
cover
take those
Fishburne.
stills out of like that was great. But like I was trying to think back of if I've ever seen him that young in real life.
No.
I guess that makes it more impressive.
Yeah.
Well, besides Apocalypse Now, I guess.
Does that make it more believable looking that you never saw it? So you're like,
Who's this?
Sure.
Handsome young man.
Sure, that guy looks real.
I mean, I think it looks pretty good. I was kind of worried about, like, you know, how it would work on different types of skin. You know what I mean?
Wait till you see it move, though. You gotta hold off until.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, it's like, for me, it's like in the Lord of the Rings movies where they make a CG person, and I'm like, I know what a person looks like, and that person looks wrong. But then, like, a CG Pegasus runs in, and I'm like, that's probably what that looks like. I don't know. I have no real life basis.
See, elves have lighter bones. That's why they can jump up falling rocks.
Exactly.
Like Super Mario.
Like sweet little singing birds.
Deny the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Larson.
Physics, it's different.
Larson mentioned this to EW. Captain Marvel can be aggressive. She can have a temper. Nin.
Well, it's the 90s, see? It's the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
9 Inch Nails.
Those jeans.
She's got to do an ollie off of something. Drink some Mountain Dew. It's
I'm super into. I wish, was that a shield hat?
Looked like a shield hat.
I wish it was a shield pullover starter jacket.
That'd be great.
That
The leather with, that would have been
pretty killer.
All little girls in the hood, like, you can't. This is my Carol Danvers starter jacket.
You want to sell some cool stuff for Captain Marvel? You saw that starter jacket.
I want to see her get robbed for a starter jacket in Act 1, and that sets her on her heroic journey.
No, that's her power discovery. Is like someone tries to steal her starter jacket, and she just photons them to vapor. She says, Bree says Captain Marvel's quick to jump into things. It makes her amazing in battle because she's the first one out there. She doesn't always wait for orders, but the not waiting for orders is to some a character flaw. So she's Maverick with energy beams and flight, which I'm into.
All right. She's a loose cannon.
Loose Ronan the Accuser's breathing down my neck, Danvers. You blew up another space block.
What was that? I'm sick of your lone cannon ways.
Are you zooming in on the hat, JT?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Should we be noticing something, or is this
I think it's the shield.
That's the shield logo.
Yeah, definitely a shield logo.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's so many Eagle logos in the United States history that I can't. It's hard for me to tell one
start
Eagle
to
from
run out.
another.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. She is an 80s detective in a movie. She's got a black boss. She's gonna get chewed out.
Yeah.
The fate of a lot of you destroyed a whole planet, Danvers.
She wears a leather jacket.
She wears. Oh, dude, this is Beverly Hills Cop 4. Basically.
It's mashing up Beverly Hills Cop 4 with Top Gun, and I'm into it. Yeah, she's gonna buzz a tower.
Dude, that should be on the poster. They need to put that.
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Colon Top Gun.
Colon Top Gun. Yeah.
So, Captain Marvel story.
How excited is everyone at this table for this movie to be compared directly to Wonder Woman immediately?
Well, you did it first, Joe.
Well, technically my notes told me to do it.
Okay.
I wasn't going to. I don't think it looks like Wonder Woman.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Dan?
It's pictures. Come on.
Yep. Ed?
I mean, I think you're right about the cynical things that are in the hearts of men. You know what I mean? Men specifically, how you're describing it. There's gonna be a natural. This is Marvel's girl movie. That was DC's girl movie. Fight. Ooh, I hope a boob pops out. Disgusting internet behavior. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, there is the only comparison is the fact that they are both the first solo female superhero films from each respective franchise. So I guess in that capacity, you could say that they share that fact. But I don't think.
Yeah.
Who knows what DNA they share? I doubt any.
We also can't compare the.
There's war and powers.
Yeah, and we also can't compare the context either because Captain Marvel isn't trying to swoop in. Ironically, plot-wise, she's trying to swoop in to save the Marvel Universe. But Wonder Woman swooped in and saved the DC Universe. You know what I mean? There's a totally different context for these movies, so no matter what the outcome is, comparing them is kind of
ridiculous. The DC movie this has the most in common with is Green Lantern because she's a hotshot jet pilot who becomes a space cop.
Heck yeah.
I mean, that's
a bunch of space other cops.
Yeah, and amorphous space powers. Like when you ask what Captain Marvel can do, it's more like what Captain Marvel can't do. You know. Yeah,
she is definitely. Marvel went through this phase where it was like energy blasts and something.
Yeah,
everyone's got energy blasts and something else.
Page.
Yeah, it looks absolutely good on the page.
I mean, the best Captain Marvel stories that I read in the last 20 damn years was because Rogue had her powers. It was doing all kind of ill stuff. And I was like, oh, that's what Captain Marvel can do? That's how Captain Marvel got over on me. It was because Rogue stole her powers for 1,000,000 years.
Thank you, X-Men.
She was badass.
Is that Captain Marvel or Ms. Marvel? What's
Well,
that
Ms.
different? Was it
Same
two?
lady.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
she
it
was.
a different
She was
superhero.
Ms. Marvel for a long time and ran around in a one-piece bathing suit.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
so many blank Marvel again in both Marvel and DC,
DC,
that
yeah.
I can't keep
Yeah.
which Marvel is a Marvel. And
Where does
So-
Marvelous Miss
Marvel's a
Maisel
DC?
fit in all this?
that's easy. Let me jump on this. So there was the marvelous Ms. Maisel, who was alive during the time of Peggy Carter.
Yeah,
Peggy
okay,
Carter
yeah.
caught a set of marvelous Ms. Maisel doing a tight 10 with Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
The three of them together took out an early Skrull sleeper cell.
Well, Lenny Bruce, notorious Skrull.
Absolutely, yeah, but sort of on
Very
our side, like
subversive.
but yeah.
Well, they hollowed him out and made him be on our side.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
exactly.
The audience is loving this Lenny Bruce material.
I know, so very
This is
relevant.
what they tune in for every
Very
day.
relevant. The post-credit scene on the last episode of season 1 of Marvelous Miss Maisel is Marvelous Miss Maisel meeting Carol Danvers, and Carol Danvers is like, Marvel, eh? As she's looking at a one-piece bathing suit, starts fighting crime in a one-piece bathing suit, and then someone's like, aren't you a soldier? Shouldn't you wear clothes? And she's like, oh yeah. So she puts on pants, becomes Captain Marvel.
But
'cause
that
that's a rank
person was
she
Peggy
earned.
Olsen from Mad Men.
Yes.
So it's all coming back.
All coming back around. The man comes around. And then there's Ms. Marvel, who's Kamala Khan, and she's also fun. This is one of my favorite costumes. I'm excited to see it. I'm a little sad she doesn't also just have a sick faux hawk.
Maybe by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll get it by the end.
Well, no, the sides are going to get shaved by energy blasts.
Yeah.
like how Rogue got her white stripe in the first X-Men. Yeah, and then she's just going to be like, I've started thinking about product. And then, Captain Marvel will return with a faux hawk.
Well, one thing I got to say, though, I did read a tweet by a tweeter called Negrobot. Take from that what you will. But basically, that person was, I guess they're attuned to like fashion culture, and they were just like, I'm sick of these Photoshop head ass EW covers. And I got to say, I kind of agree with Negrobot. I mean, she looks Photoshop, even though she probably isn't.
Yeah.
She looks Photoshop. I'm tired of these photos that look Photoshop by definition.
And I also agree with Negrobot on this one. Yeah, no, I agree with that. She's probably like leaning slightly forward, and the photographer is on a ladder. But I agree. Like a lot of their stuff really looks like the Super Mario Brothers 3 game where you're matching up the mushrooms.
Or like when Don Cheadle and Bruce Banner got their helmets ripped off in Infinity War, and they're just
Yes.
sort of floating
They're
in
just
space.
like hanging in space.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up like that. I agree.
Their
Like,
heads are
there was a
Yoshi heads.
really bad Photoshop EW cover. I'm going to try to look up.
It's a style. It's a house style there. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
house
there's an EW cover filter. They just sort of run through everything.
Yeah.
No, I agree
There
with
was
that.
one where this is the one. They made Sigourney Weaver look like an alien.
Oh, yeah.
appropriate.
I remember
Hang on.
that.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah, here it is.
Let's stall so JT has enough time to get to this camera and zoom.
Well, in the meantime,
Yeah,
I
here
wanted
we
to
go.
talk about the photo that broke the internet for me was the one with Allison Brie and Brie Larson working out together.
Two Breeze?
Two Brees.
Just two Brees?
Yeah, one photo.
Two breeze make me feel fine. Well,
Yeah,
this is
this one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Like, poor Sigourney Weaver. You can't really tell. Anyway, whatever. Look it up. Complete waste of my time, your time, and the show's time. I apologize.
I mean, I did know I did set up that volleyball spike pretty well.
Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
Just a couple
Look it up.
photographs. We gotta
Looks like an
stretch it
idiot.
out.
I like it when JTE just goes, no.
Nope.
And then we move on.
All right.
Hey, guys, you want to hear a little bit about why Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek would have been rated R? Of course you do.
Is it not happening officially?
Well, whether it's happening or not, Spencer, Carl Urban talked about it.
Okay, that's the important thing here.
Carl Urban was at a con. Dan, I don't know. Was at a con. He offered some insight into the movie. He didn't give any plot specifics. That's really good.
I like Carl Rural.
Carl Rural. That's my Carl Rural. Carl Suburban. Or it's this Carl Urban, but he's chilled out just a little bit more.
If we do a choral team-up movie of all the demographics.
Hey, I'm just going to read this. Quentin Tarantino went to producer J.J. Abrams' office and we put in a lot of parenthesis words to make things seem less casual. I'm just going to read it the way Carl laid it down. Quentin Tarantino went into JJ's offices. Much more chill.
Yeah, there you
much
go.
more chill.
Yeah.
He pitched him an idea for a Star Trek movie. I know a little bit about what it is. It's bananas. You shouldn't worry that it was going to be full of obscenity and stuff. He wants an R rating to really get some of those beats of consequence to land. If it's not PG, if someone gets sucked out into space, which we've all seen before, we might see them get disemboweled first.
Sure.
It allows some breadth, gives them some leeway to do that. To me, that was always one of the things I love about what DeForest Kelley did. He would actually capture the horror of space. That look in his eyes of sheer terror always stuck with me when I was a kid. When asked if he thought Paramount would make things right with the Chris's, Urban seemed optimistic. Hopefully we get them back for another. We get one back for another movie or two of them. We're just sort of waiting on negotiations. I'm confident we will. I believe the status of the project is really hinging on the availability and the contract negotiation of the two Chris's.
Wow.
How do you feel about disembowelments in space in Star Trek, Dan?
That's a little strange. I mean, that's very out of character for the genre. But the thing that I like about Carl Urban is like the dude knows his stuff because he's dead on about DeForest Kelley. Like Bones was always the only person on the ship that was just like, "What are you're gonna disassemble my atoms and put them back together? What do you do? That's insane!" Like he's the only one that would actually acknowledge the insanity of anything that they were doing.
All of this is bad.
All of this is bad. I want to be on Earth in an office. I hate being on the ship, and this is insanity. And Carl Urban himself, even I interviewed him for Beyond, and we were asking him movie fights questions, like what's the best Star Trek movie, and he's like Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and in my head I'm like, dude doesn't know anything about Star Trek. That's the worst one. And then he's just like, what I love about he's got the Aussie accent. He's like, the thing I love about Star Trek is Spock and Kolin-R, and he goes through this. It's like, holy shit, you just dropped Kolin-R. Like this dude knows his stuff. So I don't think sometimes there's actors talk about the franchises they're in, and you can tell that they're playing a part and they know their character, but they might not know the franchise.
I was given the following 10 comics by Marvel,
right?
Which is fine.
But like Carl Urban legitimately knows his stuff with Star Trek. So if he says that it's, it just sounds weird. It still sounds very bizarre to me, but it's still one of those weird things that's like, I don't know if it's a good idea, and I don't know if I'm going to like it, but it's just wacky enough that it's like, I got to see it. I got to see what would Tarantino with Star Trek that's just so weird to me, and not two things that don't mesh together, that maybe it's going to be brilliant or terrible, but I kind of want to see it.
Well, what Tarantino stuff do you guys want to see in a Star Trek?
The giant foot alien. Just a big old foot alien kicking down doors.
We're being hailed. Screen's up.
It's just two big feet.
Hold. I want him to adapt the episode where they come upon Abraham Lincoln sitting in his chair floating in space. Yeah. And then they have to beam down to an alien planet and fight. It's like Abraham Lincoln, and then Surak, like the Vulcan that led them to logic, and then like the most famous Klingon warrior, and it's like the battle royale between like all of the historic figures of lore from several different species. That would be weird.
That I'm waiting on the. My garage ain't for storing dead Klingons. You know what I mean? I'm just really waiting on
that. A heart attack.
Oh, believe me, he'll find a way to put the N-word in Star Trek. He'll find a way.
I almost had a heart attack. I was waiting for you to get to the end of that.
Honestly, his script is probably just they use the holodeck to go back to 1970s New York and do a drug heist.
Yep.
It's just the cast of Star Trek all holding phasers against each other.
What if it's the new one's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
What if that was the Star Trek movie and it was this holodeck thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they did that with the Voyage Home. They sent him back to the 80s, and they were, nuclear vessels, and, with the exact change, Captain, Admiral. Sorry. That's the geekiest correction of myself. I corrected Spock, calling Kirk by his rank, which he was not in that movie.
That was the most heartwarming thing I've ever seen happen in front of me.
That was kittens with string right there.
That would be fun. I would see that. It's not what it is, but that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the one thing that plays to his strength specifically is the thing that people kind of don't like about the new Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery is written and shot like a movie. It is not shot like a little play on two sets. And frankly, Tarantino would kill that because that's what he does. As we talked about in the Best Endings episode, he manages to end Pulp Fiction on a giant soliloquy, basically. And it's like an action scene. It's so percussive and magnificent. You know what I mean? So he could do that with all the sets in space and the sedentary nature of the best of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I do like the concept of stakes and repercussions and consequences being what pushes your R more so than like language and
Right.
I get that. No one dies. We talked about this in the commentary. No one dies in The Conjuring. There's not horrific violence in The Conjuring. It's just scary, and there are weird, scary demon consequences, and so it's R. And I dig the idea of pushing some of those story beats hard enough.
Well, to make this be a horror movie, all you have to do is show the below decks situation. We're always up at the command center, getting jostled in our chairs and occasionally spark shocked.
That was my favorite thing.
Somebody 4 levels below is getting raked, disemboweled by the puncture in the ship.
Yeah.
The jagged edges of the puncture are raking his skin off, or her skin off as she plunges into the heart of a star.
For a TV show about a compassionate future, every series of Star Trek is very nonchalant. Like, you're right, they're on the bridge, and someone will just call up and be like, casualties are 10 people, Captain. 10 people are died. It's like, but that's it. They're like, oh man, okay, Geordi, what's going on with the warp core? Like, 10 people just got sucked out into space. That's terrible. That's awful.
The ship's preschool just exploded, Captain. That was my favorite part of the first JJ movie, though, was the weird subterranean pipe system. I never really saw that on the Enterprise before.
Well, that was kind of fun. No one had ever really seen that on the Enterprise before, because that was a very weird thing to see on the Enterprise.
I mean, that poop's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
They poop in the future. I think.
Like the Dave Matthews Band. They do. Tour bus. I want to see the Enterprise jettison their poop onto another busy river cruise.
Well, there's a Showtime series called, I think, Stories from the Road or something like that, and it's about country musicians in their hangers-on telling old stories about old country legends. I want to see that show about the other people in the Enterprise. It's like, one time Picard got to stick up his ass about going over to Rise of 7, and then, boy, we was...
That is the most appealing part of Quentin Tarantino Star Trek, is like he would probably do scenes with, and if he could refrain from doing complete self-parody, of just like 2 red shirts talking to each other.
There's a scene of, there's an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, which is actually one of the better ones, called Lower Decks, and it is about 4 crew members that are just serving in different departments, and the regulars from the show are like fleeting, and you just hear about it's like the mission that would usually be the crux of the show is like you just hear people getting called to like the ready room, and you don't know why people were taken away on a minute, and it's literally just dealing with being completely out of the loop and trying to impress Riker, who's a real dick. And it's a really good episode. So if you go that direction, color me interested.
Yeah.
Guys, speaking of colors and interesting, I'm just going to read this. In August 2005, a burglar broke into the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, the town where the actress who played the Wizard of Oz lead character Dorothy was born. The burglar entered through the museum's backdoor window and broke through the plexiglass case housing the slippers to steal them. No fingerprints were found, and the museum's alarm system did not sound to a central dispatch system. The only evidence left behind was a single red sequin.
Dum-dum.
Nice. Jinx.
First of all, I want to see that movie. I'll watch Tarantino direct that heist. The Judy Garland's iconic ruby red slippers, worn in 1939's Oz, they're making their way back home again. They were taken from that museum 13 years ago. They were just recovered during a joint investigation between the Grand Rapids Police Department in Minnesota and the FBI. I want to see
the Black Klansman movie that's about the investigation to get the ruby slippers back from Dorothy.
It's like, McGonagall, you think you find those stupid slippers every year. Give it up, stupid! You never!
And it tears apart his family. Like, his kids don't talk to me. You care about those slippers more than me. We can't even afford shoes.
I think it should just be a sequel or prequel to The Birdcage. It's just those characters stealing Judy Garland's ruby red slippers.
Billy, did you do the script today?
I do the script every day.
That's right. You do the script every day. I like this. Again, this is a zooming in joke, so it's not going to work. But I love that you went Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
because the same 3 things are typed right in a row, and I love that this is all work and no play. This is what happens when we work Billy too hard, which is every day.
Yeah,
we work Billy too hard every day, and it's just.
Oh yeah, in 2015, an anonymous donor offered a $1 million reward for information, and it's over and over and over again.
An awesome producer.
Let me check my work.
No, Billy, you don't check that work. You take a break, buddy.
To get credit for your hard work.
It's so we didn't miss it.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know how important it was.
You work so hard for us to come on the show and make a mockery of everything that you
that you put together.
Every day it's like, why are we talking about this? This is
so
dumb.
good.
You know what's dumb? The very concept of what we do every day.
Thank you, Billy. But I love it. I was like, wow, this is a lot of information. I'm like, oh no, this is just in 2015, an anonymous donor offered a $1 million reward for information that would lead to recovering the slippers, which were insured for $1 million, but may be worth millions more at auction.
At black market auction, like
Jurassic World.
Yeah,
Jurassic
but
World
with movie props.
Yeah.
Much more low stakes film.
Yeah, they're trying to clone Judy Garland. Genetic material.
Guys, what other iconic movie props would you steal?
Oh, none. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to go to jail.
If you were a bad person. Come on, man.
That's the
There's
terrible.
got to be a Klingon glaive or something.
No, that's the
Something
terrible
you-
part. Just envisioning yourself being in prison. What'd you do? Murder? What'd you do? Burglary? What'd you do? Yeah, I stole a lightsaber from Mark Hamill's house.
want to see?
And they're like, dude! They all get really excited.
I would steal the functional 1989 Batmobile.
Nice.
Solid.
Tim Burton.
That's a solid
That's at
steal.
That's a solid
Automotive
steal.
Museum in LA. You can go-
Hard to hide once you've stolen it, but
Yeah.
no, this is not the stolen Batmobile. I built.
How
this one.
ridiculous.
This is my car.
Yeah, how long does that just last under some tree branches in your backyard before someone comes snooping? God, I want this to be a show. I want this to be the next American Crime Story, or like you said, like
Slippers.
yeah, one pair of slippers, one sequin,
Yeah.
I
and
just
one man
can't.
that unraveled.
I can't wait for the 37th in the series. You know what I mean? Like we shoot our wad on like the guy who stole the lightsaber, the guy who stole these slippers, and then way down the line we got like, this sword killed Stephen Dorff in Blade, and someone stole it from the blah 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 blah.
These are Channing Tatum's fake ears in Jupiter Ascending. Someone took those ears.
That's like 40 episodes from the Blade episode.
At this point, is it like a cops reality show, like Finding Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Where they're just like, I'm gonna find the guy that took them Channing Tatum ears. So help me God. Billy, what would you steal?
What? Here's the thing. Just so you
perfect.
know, anytime you ask me a question, I'm looking at the chat about 40 seconds behind whatever you're talking about.
What are they talking about in
The
chat?
chat steal.
Yeah.
I've seen DeLorean in here is
Good.
one that a lot
Solid.
of people. Strangest Cloak of Levitation,
Mm-hmm.
and then Lisa wants Han Solo and Carbonite. She wants the actual prop.
actual
of
prop.
it.
I like that.
That would
I
be
feel like
dope.
the Doctor Strange guy thinks that cloak is real. It's just a
Yes,
cloak.
it doesn't
It's just
actually.
like a, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a rope.
That
You can
Han
get
Solo, that Han Solo pick. Props to you.
Yeah, hanging on
That's
the
solid.
wall.
I was at a guy's house once. He was very excited because he bought some columns that were used in Lost. He was real like these
Remember
just
these?
big foam columns.
Season 3, episode 4.
It's like cool, man.
Look familiar?
Jack's columns.
By the same rationale as the person who wants to steal the sorcerer's cape because it's gonna fly. Somebody steals the Marcellus Wallace's briefcase, and I'm Pulp Fiction out this week. But so his briefcase is just a couple D batteries hooked up to a Christmas light.
And you're like, oh.
This is shit. This is absolute.
It was supposed to be a soul.
I do want to know, though, as they go into this, who stole the slippers? What were they doing with them for 13 years? Why didn't they try to sell them? And how did this sting operation go down?
I'm gonna say this: it was Tarantino, and you know why he stole them.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Guys, watch the Honest Trailer for The Conjuring, the Honest Trailer commentaries for The Conjuring. We talk a lot about ghosts. We talk a lot about ghost hunting and ghost busting. It's very fun. Charting with Dan. What all did you guys hit on Charting with Dan?
Juan and I spoke about the Labor Day weekend, and then we broke down some of the winners and losers of summer 2018.
So you guys should definitely check that out. And then, of course, this week, the movie fight's title is on the line. These two gentlemen are involved. Champ Cucumber is, of course, involved. Ed, we've heard from Cucumber. We've heard from Dan. Let's hear from you. How you feeling? How you feeling going
cut a
into this?
wrestling promo right now.
You gotta cut a wrestling promo. We're not a wrestling
From the
show.
depths of the sea comes a kraken. No,
We're not. Look, I'll tell you.
No, go with that.
Please do the Greek mythology.
Become the Kraken.
Depending on interpretations, I'm either a giant guy or a squid.
Yeah, good stuff. Keep going.
I am honored to battle Dan. I am honored to not be mentioned by Cucumber in any of the pre-battle shit talk. He just was really zeroed in on Dan.
It's very offensive, actually.
I think I'm just going to be Wolverine in the shadows, waiting to jump out and pop my claw on somebody's neck. You know what I mean?
Mention, by the way,
it.
I think Cucumber uses his feltedness as an excuse, because can you imagine any other movie fights competitor? Like, if Mark Andreyko cut a promo on Scott Mance, it was like, I'm gonna murder you and bury you. Like, people would be like, someone needs to talk to Mark Andreyko. But Cucumber's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him and bury him in my backyard. I'm gonna pee on his grave. Like,
Mark
like,
can
yeah,
pull it
you
off.
go, Cucumber.
I think Andreyko could pull it off.
I can just see his little.
I'm gonna kill Scott and bury him. What? In my backyard.
To be fair,
with the shovel.
I also stole Judy Garland.
I could see Mark Andreyko being like an international criminal. That's true.
I can just see his little Velcro arms around your neck. You know what I mean? That's nuts. But yeah, so basically, I'm very happy to be. There was somebody who questioned my bona fides. I've come in second to Dan, like no less than twice.
We all have.
We fought. Oh yeah, of course. Shut up. Okay, this is my promo, Spencer. We'll do hip hop talk next week.
Let the Kraken talk.
But honestly, I've come in second to Dan a few times. Also, I did win that gauntlet on the very same day that Cucumber won his title. That is the day that I won the gauntlet to be in the mix for all that, and it's coming to fruition. So, yeah, I would definitely say that I got a puncher's chance. I know that, and I think a lot of people out there know that. So I look forward to a great match with two guys. Well, one guy that I respect and one guy that is not respecting me. So,
Well, I'm glad that you respect Cucumber, Ed. Guys, it's going to be a really fun show. I'm really, really excited about it. Make sure you guys tune in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for another episode of SJU. JTE, follow him at HonkyBot.
What?